Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2021 NMOA State Clinic. So a lot of you joined us last night for the District Rules Clinic, which Scott Owen did. If you were on with us last night, you noticed that it was a lot of the NMAA stuff and guidelines. I know Rusty will touch upon some of that as it pertains to officials. So we appreciate you sticking with us for a couple of nights. As Rusty's cover slide says there, high school wrestling season is worth waiting for, and it's finally upon us. So I agree. That's a good little title slide there, Rusty. Tonight's clinician will be Rusty Davidson. Rusty, of course, has been around wrestling in New Mexico since I think the Sandias were flat or sometime thereabout. And he has definitely been an asset to the wrestling officiating community as an official, as an assigner. He's currently our Central Region assigner. He's helped us out at the state tournament in various capacities over the year. And during the off season, he facilitated all of our off season wrestling webinars. So we certainly appreciate everything he's done over the years and leading up into this pandemic year of wrestling. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Rusty to take it away. Rusty.
Thank you. And I appreciate everybody taking time. I'm sure some people had to hurry home. We got pretty good snow over here. I don't know if anybody else did, but thanks for spending some time. In formatting this, the group decided last time we met that to do a completely redundant presentation from last night was not quite the way to stimulate engagement. So while I do have access to the NFHS baseline and can discuss what went on last night, we're going to go a couple of different directions. We set this up based on technology where Nate is actually running the presentation rather than me being the host. And our reasoning there is because he's able to process video at a higher speed, which gives us better clarity. We discovered that a lot of the video that I was trying to show through the summer, fall, winter was really coming out blurry. So I appreciate Nate taking the time to do that. Dana as well has chipped in by formatting some polling questions. We'll get into a You Make the Call series here in just a little while, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. So Nate, if you want to get us rolling, we'll look at an agenda. You know, we'll just quickly look at what it's been like for the last 12 months, and then we'll look forward to our next very exciting 60 days. I will call upon regional assigners and regional group leaders. If you guys have announcements or scheduling of meetings or specific needs, we'll go through those regions real quickly and let you guys communicate to the larger group. Then we can just take whatever time we need to look at last night. I did get a call from Coach Owen this morning, and he's actually got an addendum set of slides that were produced late that clarify some things, and he did ask me to include that. Then we'll just play with some video and toy around just a little bit, and then we can talk about what's coming up. So Nate, let's go. This is a quick look at our last 12 months. Dana mentioned it. I have been never as proud of New Mexico and surrounding area refereeing as I have been for the last 12 months. I think all of you just proved who you really are and what you're really about. And believe me, it is noted and appreciated. Nate, please. Going into the next 60 days, everything's jammed. Many of you saw a note that Dana sent out. She's beginning to work district ADs now on trying to get us schedules. I've had quite a bit of personal involvement over the last couple of days, and I can assure you that at least north of Socorro, not much has been done in the way of scheduling wrestling competition. So if it occurs to anybody that we're starting 2 weeks from last Monday, a week from next Monday, with our first open date for competition, yes, indeed we are. Uh, this is going to really make the communication within our regional groups and our sharing very vital to success. I think we're all going to be a little bit shorthanded, even more than we always are. And this is a note to everybody. We're going to have to deal with some very last minute adjustments. And again, I'm really proud that we're us, and we'll find a way to make it work. Nate, please. So dates that we're working with, practice did start, practice starts this coming Monday. And that's full 5 day a week legitimate practice. I am very curious about exactly who's going to be ready to compete on April 5th. Hopefully the preseason opportunities have been maximized, within the structure provided, but it's going to be testy. We also have athletes that are participating in multiple sports at the same time. And we have athletes that have had not much time to rejuvenate and recover from other sports competitions. So it will be interesting. As you learned last night, district competitions are set up for Thursday night, the 20th, and Saturday night, the 22nd. And then our state, our amended state tournament will take place on Thursday night, the 27th, and Saturday night, the 29th. Nate, please. Just listening around for regional or group leaders and assigners, starting with you guys in the Four Corners area. Jet, Jason, do you guys have any urgent announcements or needs?
Rusty, we don't. I've been reaching out to all of our ADs here in the area, just trying to get them to finalize a schedule. That way we can assign accordingly. And the second part is, I think we're all going to be working with limited staff or limited officials for this year. So, that cross pollination against, other regions is going to be really important, I think. If we can do it, and if we can't, then, some of the schools are just going to have to, work with us with what we have too. I think that's going to be a challenge that we're all going to face. So, in terms of other dates or solid announcements, I don't really have any. We're just trying to lock down some scheduling before we can move forward.
Thank you. Jed, anything to add?
No, nothing to add here, Rusty. Thank you.
So much. Adam, what's going on with you guys? Do we have Adam?
Yeah, I'm here, Rusty. No, I don't really have anything either. Like you guys have all kind of mentioned, it's going to be pretty compact in a quick season. So we'll just try to do the best that we can, and we'll be in contact with each other and pulling officials as we need to. And, I think we all do a pretty good job of that. So that's always exciting, and, enjoy working with all of you guys. So that's all I have.
We appreciate you. Thanks. Hammer, what's going on with you?
So the local coaches are meeting with the Las Cruces athletic department. So we should have a draft schedule, I'm thinking, by the end of this week. I've talked to the Ruidoso coach, and he's already let me know when there's I forget it. There's an event that is placed. I don't know what the date is anymore, sometime in April. And then I've got a phone call into the Carlsbad area, Carlsbad and Hobbs, and see what they're going to do. And as far as with the team here down in the South, Nate, do you have a snapshot of the planned meetings this year? Or more importantly, if anybody knows when are the open dates? I think there was 2 or 3 open dates. Dana, I don't remember those dates, but
I'll pull it up, Mondo. Hang on just a second.
Okay. But the local guys, I want to probably have a meet and greet and a local tag up on those open dates. I'll get with Dana whenever she tells us what they are, and I'll make up. I'll set up.
It's the 31st and the 5th of May, Monday.
Okay, so 31st and 5th we'll have a local meeting, if you will. I'll borrow this Zoom platform for sometime during that week when it's available. And we'll have a local meeting just to talk about things and scheduling and assignments and what have you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you
I
so
think that's
much.
enough, Rusty.
We appreciate you.
Nate, one more thing. I know there's been some changes across the state with head coaches and ADs. Are you able to send out an updated contact list for those? And then can you also send out a list of registered officials for either our areas or for the state as a whole?
I'll send you all the ADs list. I will ask Scott if we can send that coaches list. He's the one who has that. I'll send the ADs list to you all as signers tomorrow, and then Nate can address the officials list.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll get that taken care of.
Thank you, guys.
Real quick, something I do want to address in the signers, and I didn't really tell Dana this, but I think for this year, Dana, I don't know if you're okay with this, but if you guys can just get your events covered, don't worry about the arbiter. If there's an arbiter pay school, then obviously we'll have to create the match. It's an extremely condensed season, and so if we can just get them covered, and we'll kind of work the arbiter on the fly if we need to.
Nate, almost all, if not all of our schools are set up through arbiter pay and prefer it that way.
Okay.
Last year was really good for us with arbiter. So if you're okay with it, I'd like to.
Are you okay entering your events? You feel comfortable? If you all are comfortable doing your using the arbiter, feel free to. If you're not comfortable and you just want to get them covered, I'll work with you on the back end.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, we can enter them.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, Nate, I tend to mirror that. I'm good with putting them in, but I'm also good with shouting them your way and then you helping me out. Not all the schools down here are using arbiter pay, but maybe 50% or something like that. But either way, I'm good with working with you on that. I'd rather just get them covered and then shoot you the stuff and we can work it on the fly.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let's work it on the. I would say let's just work it on the fly.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, guys. Elaine, anything you need to add about the Central Region?
I'm going to be sending a very informational email out fairly soon, but we will be meeting on the 31st, and the email will have that information.
Thank you. Okay, for the good of the group, anybody else have any announcements at this point? All righty then, Nate, please. And again, please, I know I got rule book and case book in the mail almost 2 weeks ago, and everybody that's registered should have received those documents. Am I correct in that, Nate?
Yep. And if you have not, shoot me an email after the meeting, and I'll make sure that they get out in tomorrow's mail.
Thank you. And then you also got a link with your membership to an app that allows you to access rulebook and casebook on your phones. So that part's in pretty good shape. Okay, Nate, if we can get past this entire PowerPoint, you may have to start it and then click it. There we go. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, right there. Okay, this is what Coach Owen communicated with me about early this morning that he did not include in last night's presentation. And if you look below the title, you can see that this was prepared specifically for Illinois, who is not wrestling yet. Illinois' season actually starts a week after ours, but it was also prepared with and for the Ohio Association. And Ohio did have their wrestling season and have completed their wrestling season. And the Coach Owen asked me to just zip through this and highlight a couple of points that are valid. And also he asked that I highlight a couple of points that are not so valid. So we'll hit these one at a time. Nate, please. I'm quoting Coach Owen directly. If you look at the 1, 2, third line down, laced to the top eyelet, in his words, that's ticky-tacky. we're not going to start counting eyelets on shoes. If the shoes appear to be secured, we go forward. And a double knot is a valid method of securing laces. Okay, if they come untied, it's an automatic stalling call. And as he said last night, if the shoe comes off, then it's a technical violation. There's a point awarded, and it does burn injury time while the situation is addressed. Then there's the last little bullet in there that you can barely see, that the individual cannot score until penalty points are awarded. Basically, I would interpret that as meaning that we've got to stop the match at the first available opportunity. But that one seems very ambiguous to me, and it also did to Coach Owen. Nate, please. Okay, there's some stuff that's not valid in here, and Coach Owen asked me to be sure and point that out. The second bullet point that deals with skin checks in a separate procedure is not valid. Okay, the skin checks are being done by whoever's conducting weigh-ins, whether it be coaches, referees, or administrators, and the skin checks will consist of assessing the normally visible skin from mid to lower thigh down, and from shoulder blades up and the arms. And that's just where it is right now. So we're not orchestrating gender specific skin checks. We're not a straps down, straps up type environment. Straps stay up through the whole time. Coach Owen did send out a memo to everybody, and I'm hoping you got it, that last night he kind of got lost in the moment and said something about, yeah, you can take your mask off to weigh in. That is not correct. Wrestlers weigh in with suitable undergarments, with a legal competition appropriate singlet, and a face mask, and there is no weight tolerance for any of those. If the wrestler chooses to wear socks, there's no weight tolerance for that. But if they step on with socks, they were on with socks, and socks cannot be removed for a second chance weigh-in. Okay, Nate, please. One of the things that Coach Owen mentioned specifically this morning is that this expanded edition really does a decent job of talking about the HNC protocols. So it does talk it through it there. But then, Nate, if you'll go to the next slide, we get an example. Okay, so you see that injury time has started, and we get 20 seconds in when the trainer asks time for HNC protocol. So we do not stop the running clock, but we do take note of how much time has elapsed, and then we ask the scorekeeper to record. In this case, 20 seconds of injury time was used, and the clock continues to run up to a max of 5 minutes. In this scenario, the kid is cleared at 4:15. Okay, so this athlete has used one injury time and everything that goes with it, but they still have an additional minute and 10 seconds for any injury that is not HNC related. If there is a second HNC related occurrence, then the match ends. There is another scenario. Nate, please. Okay, so we get 35 seconds into injury time, ask for HNC, clock continues to run, and we ask the scorekeeper to record 35 seconds used. We go through the rest of the injury time protocols. 4:10, wrestler returns to competition. We get into the third period, and the wrestler injures something completely not head, neck, or cervical related. In this case, it's an ankle. This athlete still has 55 seconds of injury time. So I think that is reasonably well presented. Does anybody have any questions about this protocol? Nate, please. Okay, this one addresses the elimination of hair rules. Okay, reading from bottom to top, you'll notice that this does not have any application to facial hair. You know, there can be other things that go through Coach Owen's office as far as, religious things or something like that. But in everyday wrestling, the facial hair rules still apply. Okay, they can wear a hair cover if they choose to, but if they do choose to, the hair cover has to be inspected at weigh-in, and it has to be attachable and attached to the headgear. Everything else, okay, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Nate, please. Okay, this one I think is a reasonably decent point. Somebody somewhere back east charged the kid with fleeing the mat, and then right at the edge awarded a takedown and awarded both of those. That's not a thing. You have to be successful at fleeing the mat to be penalized for fleeing the mat. So if you get taken down, then you were not successful in fleeing. Same thing. If an athlete is trying to flee the mat from the ground position, they have to be successful at it. If near fall points are awarded, then there is no fleeing. And in high school wrestling, there is no fleeing call when you're in a danger position. And then the separate point there reminds us that when we award, it would be the warning 1-1. This would be the fourth stalling violation, which will be rare. When we award a fourth stalling violation, the match stops at the earliest possible, so that the offended athlete still has time opportunity to choose a position and take advantage of it. Nate, please. Okay, a little bit of definition work here on what imminent scoring is, and there's some samples. Nate, please. Okay, so about to be taken down. Defensive athlete claims to be injured. We do award the takedown, and we do begin the injury time procedure. Okay, now what's not made clear here is that if the takedown was awarded, we will resume wrestling in the advantage position. If the takedown was awarded, then it would be scored as a takedown in the computer or in the book, and we will resume as if the takedown occurred. Same thing if you look at the second situation there, reversals in process. Ouch, I'm injured. We award the 2-point reversal and go through the injury timeout procedures and protocols. We will resume wrestling with the wrestler who was awarded the 2-point reversal in the top position, and the scoring tabulation will indicate that there was a reversal. And then finally, in the third situation there, same thing with an escape. Award the escape, stop the match, injury protocol, and we will resume in neutral. Nate, thank you. Let's go on. All right. I put together what I could get a hold of in high school wrestling in the last 2 months. And I watched about 9 hours of video trying to put this together. What I got are okay. They're not everything I would want them to be, but time is somewhat of an issue in this preparation. So as we go through this, what's going to happen is that Dana or Nate will show us a screen prior to the video that will tell you, do we have the polling screen there, Nate?
Do you want the polling now, or how do you want me to poll?
Actually, you know what? We should do it after the
Yep.
scenario. Thank you. Okay, but I did include your choices on there. So as we watch this first clip, okay, we're looking for hair rules. And this just kind of drives home the point. So Nate, go ahead and start the video. This won't take long. You can see that Green's hair might be a little bit longer than we would have accepted not too long ago. So now
Okay,
we'll get a
more time.
polling screen. Perfect. Are we able to poll now, Nate? There you go. You guys should be able to respond. And Nate, do we get instant results or no?
You will. I'm just, because Dana and I haven't figured out when we're both co-hosts that I can't see how many people have. So I'll just give it about a minute.
Didn't take that long. This one's pretty easy breezy. We just finished talking about it. We'll see the numbers here in a second, but is there anybody that went anything except choice B, that everything's okay under current rule? Go ahead and start. What'd you get for numbers, Nate?
And I can't see. There you go.
Ah, okay. So we got somebody.
We have 5 individuals that are not prepared to wrestle. 20 individuals said everything's okay, and 0% informally notified Greens coach.
Okay. So once again, in 2021, there is fundamentally no rule requiring hair or about hair. So this athlete's hair hanging down under the headgear in the back is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If it were hanging down in the front and covering their face, that's their problem, not ours. If it's hanging down over their ears under the headgear, that's their problem, not ours. If they are wearing a hair cover, then it's got to be attached to the headgear. So that would be, I guess, the outlier in this scenario. Okay, but it's we're gonna have to get over the hair thing.
Oh.
Okay, Nate, let's go ahead to our next video selection.
You want to play it?
Should be advance on another slide. There we go. Okay, so here's your choices up front. You guys can look through those.
All right.
Stalling, question mark, takedown, question mark, reversal, question mark. All right, Nate, let it roll. Red is on your right with her butt to us, wearing a purple singlet.
And Nate, I think this is the one where I have the whole question out of order.
Perfect.
Hey, keep watching, keep watching.
Do we want
All
to
right.
play that one more time? What do we want to do?
I think we're okay. Let's take a look at the poll question. See if it's a different one, we'll go back.
Rusty, are we going by what we saw or what the referee gave?
You're calling this.
Those
So
are
the
your options.
referee may have been right or may have been wrong. I think all of us saw what the referee called.
I'll give you about 15 seconds.
Are we able to look at it again, Nate?
Yep, I can as soon as I launch. I'll end the poll in 5 seconds. We'll launch results.
Okay, this one's dicey. The question for me really is the stalling call. Knowing that the 2 takedown red was a legitimate, and looking at its timing, go ahead, Nate. You know, I think we got a couple of people interested in this head and arm or head without an arm situation. It'll be green that attempts a head throw. Okay, if you're seeing something illegal, my guess is that's where you saw it. Okay, there's no barrier to Red's legs. I believe that was a takedown. Weight was on the hands, weight was on the knees. If it was a takedown, I believe that stalling call is probably legitimate. The iffy part of that scenario is the stalling call. And I can live with it and I can live without it. Remember, we're not counting to assess a stalling call. We're watching for an attempt to return to mat. So again, I could live with it. I could live without it. I think that either answer B, 2 red, 2 green, or answer C, 2 red, stalling, 2 green, could be considered correct on that. Anybody? All right, Nate, here we go.
Same. Is this the same one?
Yes, be the next slide. Okay, here's your choices. It's either illegal or it's not. And this is the same match. Stay ready. I think, Nate, we should look at this one more time.
Okay.
This is where we want to look. Okay, if we can put our poll up, Nate, please. Illegal or not illegal?
We get 30 seconds on this one.
Then when we get through, we probably should look again. See what we got. Okay.
87% no foul, legal hold, 13, the 3, there were 3.
At least I got some reasonably challenging situations. I don't know if we can freeze it.
Win.
There. That is a perfectly legal 3/4. Either with an arm or without an arm enclosed. That's a legal 3/4 Nelson. So the correct answer is letter B. There is no foul. All right, Nate, if we can advance to the next slide, please. Here's your choices. 2 red, 2 green, only 2 green, a loss of control, or 2 red and a loss of control. Let's watch. Red is on top at this point. Fascinating. Eric, I was thinking about you on this one. I finally found somebody with worse mechanics than you. As we look at this again, the call's not that hard. It is 2 near fall red, 2 reversal green. But wouldn't it be easier to communicate that if this referee did little things like maybe communicate that they're counting a near fall? I mean, I'm having to count that for myself, and I watched it about 16 times. I believe that there is criteria for a 2-point near fall. And then when they finally complete the reversal, then the guy, I don't know what he was doing. He looked like he was at the Disneyland parade waving to Mickey or something. Can we watch it again, please, Nate?
Yep, let me end the poll. I'm going to share results.
Been off the map for 3 years, Russ. You think that was bad?
So you're going to challenge this guy for your position.
Yeah.
There are your results. Rusty, do you want me to stop sharing those?
Please. Yeah, most of us got it. Okay, so here we go. Seems like a really nice man. At least he's got you beat on that one, Eric.
I like the hairdo though.
Yeah. Okay, 1001, 1002, 1003. 2 near fall red. 2 green. Hi to all my fans out there. Watch him. Wave those hands, brother. Wave those hands, baby. All right. So if you're kind of new to the refereeing game, don't do what he did. All right. Nate, if we go to the next slide, we're getting close, folks. Okay, this one's pretty blurry.
Yeah, let me hold on a second. Let me clear that up a little.
Give us just a second.
Yeah, it's trying to hold on. Let me get it clear. Let me get more videos out of the way. And I think that's probably even better, isn't it?
Yes. And I'm not able to see our choices here with it.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me There are the choices.
Okay. That's a typo. That's supposed to say 3 points, not 4 points. I guess you can tell I've been watching a lot of college wrestling this week. So your choices are 2-point near fall or 3-point near fall or no near fall. We got onto the wrong slide there, Nate.
Yeah, we're back.
Back it up one.
Are we good there?
Back it up one more slide. Let's check.
Okay.
There we go. Either no near fall 2 or 3. This is that same guy. Okay. So do something, but there you go. He kind of sort of waved his hand there a little bit. Can we get this guy a job in the Four Corners, Jason?
All right.
Negative.
Launch. Do we want to launch this one?
No, thank you, Efren. I'm reading your chat. Efren says the right call might be to get down and look. This is in the state championship. That's kind of scary.
All right. I'm going to go in poll, share results.
Yeah, I think you could go either way. There was not a 3-point near fall. There certainly couldn't have been a typo 4-point near fall. Maybe 2. I think if he had some kind of mechanics, then I wouldn't argue with him about 2 if he had mechanics. The way I saw it, I don't think the kid met criteria for 2 seconds, but the guy's making me count it for myself, and that's just not a thing. All right, Nate, let's go to next scenario, please.
Yeah, let me extend that.
Next one. Okay. Question is PD or illegal? This one goes back to a Joel Espinoza call at Cibola a couple of years ago. One more time, please, Nate. And this one's not the one about Joel. This is something else. And if, Ren, before you tell me, I know you can't really see it. Oh,
Doing some funny stuff on me. Hold on.
I think yeah, what happens is it goes to the later parts of the selection.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to clip those. Here we go. Okay, so right now everything's good. You see that left hand half in, we're never going to see his right hand. Okay, the guy was in decent position. I'm interested in his mechanics. He went one hand first for PD and then followed it with the second hand. I think there probably was a full Nelson and he just kind of choked on it. Now he's having to explain it to the table, which again is a comment on his mechanics. So let's all select illegal hold, 1 green, and we can say we got 100% on one.
give it 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm sure we have the jokesters that did not select. Yeah, there were 2.
Okay. We're getting really close, fellas, ladies. Okay. So we got, this is either fleeing, or it's unnecessary roughness, or it's both. One more quickly. Oh, I think we advanced. Yeah, we got, there we go. No. There we go. This one. All right, let's vote. Give us about 20 seconds on this one, Nate.
Was green top or bottom?
Green was top. Nate, whenever you're ready. Interesting. We got a little more than half of us saying unnecessary roughness on green. And then we got a third of us looking for that flea. Let's watch it one more time.
Looks like red's on top.
I gave you the wrong answer. I'm sorry. Red's on top. Green was successful fleeing the mat. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. So if I messed you up, Jason, I'm sorry. So green was guilty of fleeing the mat. Technical violation 1, red, and then red, although she probably deserved it, red jacked her a little bit there. I would go with letter C.
Hey, Rusty, it looked like the top was pushing her. The momentum was coming from the top once they started getting close.
Let's watch it again.
Okay.
Let's watch her feet. Yeah, I can see your point. I'm looking at the early part of the scenario where I believe she is on her heels trying to pull and lift. But I can
Why
see
would
your,
it be? Why would it be a fleeing on the bottom? Bottom girl, she's making an attempt to get up. So why make all that effort to get up from her feet to flee the mat? You know, to get back, to come back down on her, to come back in the down position when she's already on the bottom position.
watch it one more time.
You know what I mean? Like, she's already on bottom, already stood up. Why would she run out of bounds to get the escape? And if you see top girl is planting her feet to push her out of bounds. Like if you see it again.
So yours would be only the unnecessary roughness call.
Yeah.
I would throw a stalling and unnecessary roughness. Stalling on top, unnecessary roughness.
Top, yeah, exactly.
This is Jeff Green.
Keep-
I saw the girl on bottom on her tippy toes, you know, as if she couldn't reach a full solid foot on the ground.
Shit.
Yeah, I would say that the one on bottom is the one actually fleeing.
But
Let's look one more time.
But if you really like see the scenario, if you're on bottom and you already made the attempt to get up, why would you flee the mat? Like if you see the heels of and how she's driving and walking the bottom girl forward, you can just
there we go.
On the top.
Just say she never makes a turn to. She never makes a chance to turn around and come back to the mat on bottom. She never changes her direction. She never stops on her heels. She never stops her momentum at all. She's trying to get away, but she's just dumb enough not to know where the battery's at.
Right when they got to the edge of the inner circle, her feet were up off the air and the top was controlling the flea.
Carlos, just say it right. What is fleeing the mat to be scored upon, right? That's what you're trying to say, Carlos, right? What you're saying is she's going to try to get a point. Why would she flee to get a point, right? That's what you're saying, Carlos. What's fleeing the mat, right? When you're going to get scored upon, right? To avoid getting scored upon, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what Carlos is mentioning, guys.
I get
You know,
that, but
she's
then
trying
we're
to get
questioning on what she's trying to do versus what she did.
Yeah, so that's what he's saying. That's what Carlos is trying to explain. Right, Carlos? That's what you're trying to say.
You'll go with letter B, unnecessary roughness, 1 green.
If the option was stalling on top, unnecessary roughness in the call.
I agree.
And honestly, to me, it looked like the last 3 steps, she was being carried and she was barely touching the floor. It wasn't like she was on her tips of the toes to try to get out. She was actually lifted and she was trying to almost touch the ground. That's just what I see. I would say B2.
Correct.
I am thrilled that I got at least one scenario that was dicey enough to get some discussion.
Yeah. I just want to add that I don't think that's a necessary roughness. I don't know if that's a slam, so let's put that out there.
This is Adam too. I just here's a little wrench to it. How much control does the top person have as they're moving out? Let's say bottom lady has the hand control and top's following her and she's trying to create separation to get out and top's following her and they kind of carry that momentum out of bounds. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't call anything on that and let it replay again. And if the same scenario happens, then I'd look at penalizing them.
You got to go with at least stalling on the top. There was no attempt to bring bottom wrestler back down. Bottom wrestler is doing everything they can to escape, to get up, to do what they're supposed to do. Top wrestler did not attempt to bring her back down, and took her out of the mat, out of the wrestling area. That's stalling. That's not fleeing. That's not fleeing. That's stalling.
You got to think about. Let me say something here. I think you got to remember, you got to manage this wrestling match. If you don't do anything to top for throwing her out the way she did, at least an unnecessary roughness, then you're going to get retaliation somewhere down the road. So I think I could control this match right away.
I just don't see how that could be an unnecessary roughness. Maybe a stalling after a couple times, but even once I'm not sure about that.
I think we're using the wrong term as unnecessary roughness. You got to look at it. It's not a necessary roughness. This is a slam. Okay. If you're lifting them up, there needs to be control, right? That's essentially what we're doing. So let's just change it into a double. Like I'm in a double and I bring them down. Am I going to call it a necessary roughness or am I going to call it a slam? If I'm the offensive wrestler and I'm lifting you, at that point, it is my responsibility to bring you back down safely. There was no control there. So it wouldn't be unnecessary roughness. It would just be an illegal slam. You still get the same pointage out of it. I think it's just the terminology we were using was the one that's confusing us here.
But she didn't even land on her, so I'm not sure you can consider that a slam.
So again, the rulebook says nothing about the way you land and how it's being called a slam. It never says anything about the sound it makes when you hit the mat. It only talks about the control you have. And there was no control at that point, so it would be defined as a slam.
Would
And
you more
then
look at it
this-
as unnecessary
Interesting.
unsportsmanship because he threw her?
Just for the record, slam is wrestling slang. The call is unnecessary roughness. A slam is penalized by an unnecessary roughness call.
Right.
Couldn't you?
No, slams
couldn't
are
you
slams
also-
are illegal. That
Yeah.
to me looked more like either unsportsmanlike or unnecessary, right? I don't. But,
Hey,
but
the judge spoke. He, in the court of law, Gerald, that is illegal.
I
would look
agree
at
with
it more
Mondo.
as
I would say it's more.
unsportsmanlike.
That's what I would say too.
It's after the whistle, so I'm going unnecessary.
She didn't need to do that. That's not wrestling. That was just throwing her. And so that's an unnecessary act, unnecessary roughness.
I think at the end of it, you're not going to be wrong if you call unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike. In those two cases, you could call either or.
Once again, I am thrilled at the discussion.
Yeah, what Renee was saying, like, you can call it either or because the progression of points, it becomes cumulative in that category. So if you illegal hold, unsportsmanlike, unnecessary roughness, all of that is cumulative in the penalty points. So either way would have gone. Either way, if it was unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike, or illegal, either way, it's still cumulative in the penalty points.
We don't have 10 minutes to make a decision. That call needs to be made quickly and firmly.
Anybody else? You're doing great.
I have a question. So in your, let's go back to the slide so I get the verbiage correct. Unnecessary roughness. So in most rule books, when we talk about hard contact or intentionals, does it talk about just not necessarily the intent of the rule or how unnecessary it was, but for example, in the sport of basketball, we have an intentional foul. Not necessarily does it mean that it is unnecessary. It may just be excessive contact, and it could have been unintentional, but it was excessive. Does the rule cover that?
Here's the rule. It's on page 30, Rule 5-28. I'm sorry, 29. Unnecessary roughness involves physical acts that occur during wrestling. It includes any act which exceeds normal aggressiveness. It would include but not be limited to A, forceful application of a crossface, B, a forceful trip, C, forearm or elbow used in a punishing way, such as on the spine or back of the head or neck, D, pulling an opponent's hair. So there you go.
Hey, Rusty, can you read that again in Spanish, please?
Yes, call me after.
All right, let's move on, right?
Okay, last one. This is the Joel Espinoza question. Not exactly, but somewhere close. Whenever you're ready, Nate. Our choices are illegal, guys, notice that I chose all my video from free states. Nobody's wearing masks. One more time. They are in neutral at this point. Okay, here comes your poll. About 15 seconds.
All right, gonna end it. Share results.
Okay, I see 13%. How many people, Nate, said illegal?
3 people, 13%. 20 people said 2 green, near fall, and 0% said 2 green.
Okay. Let's look at it one more time. So the reason I selected this and the reason I keep bringing up Joel's name, this is legal. There's nothing wrong with this sit back cradle. Where it becomes illegal is if that leg is attacked with another leg and foot rather than the arm. If he hooks that with his hand, if he jumps and comes after it with a post in the ankle, we had that situation at the Joe Vivian several years ago with a returning state champion from Santa Fe that got wrecked. And then Joel had it in a dual meet that I think was Cleveland at Cibola just a couple of years ago. This one was legal. Okay, so yes, and I guess there could be some question there about whether he ever got that other leg free so that he could demonstrate control. I never had any problem with the control there. I scored it 2 takedown, 3 near fall. So I think that gets us through. Before we go too far, if there's any video that anybody would like to see again, we can address that quickly. We are at 6:36. So we're about 6 minutes over an hour. All right, Nate, let's go forward. Okay, just a quick note. I don't know who's on that hasn't been on through our other scenarios, but if you would advance, Nate, some things that you want to look into are experimenting with different masks. If you're going to use a whistle inside a mask, there are several masks on the market that have kind of an extended seam down the front of the nose that cause that mask to droop, and it leaves a lot of room for a whistle. So just, do your shopping online or however you do. I took note of the different masks that the 20 officials at the NCAAs wore last weekend. And I would say out of the 20, probably a dozen of them wore that loose fitting big front elephant mask. So look into those if you will. Those of you that want to wear a real tight mask on your face, I would encourage you to experiment with the electronic whistle. They're a little bit pricey. They're about $27 for a Fox 40. I've seen some other electronic whistles that are not very good quality. I know that you can get the Fox 40 either on site at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I know for sure you can order it online from Dick's Sporting Goods, and that's the best price that I've found. If you're going to use an electronic whistle, get in somebody's wrestling room and learn how to change hands with it, because it is. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say there's a really good rechargeable electronic whistle on Amazon that actually has 3 different volumes and 3 different tones. A lot better than the Fox 40. It's only $17.
Okay, thank you. And again, I really don't think that most of us are going to use electronic whistles. I'm just saying, if you do think you're going to use, okay, if you do think you're going to use the electronic whistle, You need lots of practice with it because it is a challenge. I took the lanyard off of mine so I don't have things to get trapped on the mat or any of that. And I do change hands with mine, and it's been reasonably efficient. So do what you will. Nate, can we go next slide, please? Just throwing in my little pitch there. Olympic trials are not this weekend, but next weekend, and they're going to be something pretty special. Next slide, please. Here's what we've got. People were talking about schedule earlier. Gerald, I'm seeing your chat. You are correct. It has to be a mask that either attaches to your head with a tie or a stretch, and it has or hooks on the ears. We cannot use gaiters, and we don't need to try to figure that out, but we can't use gaiters. So that we have calls scheduled every Wednesday, and Dana, I'm gonna at least ask a question here in a second. But our first Wednesday next week is set aside for local meetings. And I know Elaine's got one scheduled, and she's going to talk in just a minute about some more stuff. And then we have meetings for all of us, for all state officials, for all of us on the next 4 consecutive Wednesdays, with one region being in charge of presentation and topic for each of those meetings. And then we finish up on Cinco de Mayo with another opportunity for locals to get together.
I have a question about Wednesdays.
Go.
Working on our schedule, Socorro's schedule and stuff like that, a lot of teams are going to be wrestling on Wednesdays because of transportation and like that for basketball and track and baseball and softball and swim and stuff like that on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Mondays and stuff like that. What's going to happen if a lot of us have to do officiating on Wednesdays, or we have events on Wednesdays and stuff like that?
We record every meeting, and if you miss it, we send a link to the recording with the assignment, so you still get credit and so you don't miss the information.
Okay. I'm not
Yeah,
worried so much
Chris-
about the credit as just making sure we had officials that were going to be, because a lot of officials are going to be officiating on Wednesdays. So
Chris, you
From my
beat me to my
understanding.
question, because the schedules that I've been helping with recently, a lot of them have to do with Wednesdays. So I think there's a good possibility that a lot of us will be watching those meetings after the fact and tackling the assignment that comes with them.
And the assignment, it's not very difficult. I'll just tell you that right now. So we just want some measure that you actually watch the meeting. And the reason we're on Wednesday is just because we're right now in the middle of about 6 sports that we're having to use one Zoom account for. And there's only 2 of us, and it just, we can't get done any other time. So we apologize for that. And of course, when we set the Wednesday schedule, we had no idea what the wrestling schedule was gonna look like.
Exactly. So we're going to make it work.
Absolutely.
As President Mandela said here, we will get it done. For just a second, Elaine had chatted earlier that she needed just a minute for announcements. Go, Elaine.
So we had one of our younger junior wrestling high school officials pass away recently. And I just want to emphasize, you guys are out there. You guys are heroes to a lot of people. You might not realize it. You are leaders in our community. And just to let you know, the very first paragraph of his obituary, he said he enjoyed his new job in the fitness industry and spent as much time as he could as a referee for junior and high school wrestling. Wrestling was one of his greatest passions, and from a very young age, he absolutely loved connecting with the sport again in this way. This is Mr. Kyler Gonzalez. I met him a handful of times. My memorable time is when I asked him, hey, how's everything going? Are you okay? Do you need anything from me? And he's like, I'm just having the time of my life. And his smile was just radiant. So think about what you do. You guys definitely make a difference to everybody out there. You are a leader, you are a role model, and people actually want to be you. So go out there and do your best for the sport, for all of us. Let's become the band of brothers we need to be. Let's recruit. Let's just get out there and promote the sport we all love. And, you know, shouts out to Kyler. So great guy.
Thank you so much for taking care of that. We appreciate it. Folks, we're done. Does anybody have anything for the good of the group? Any questions, any scheduling?
I don't
Nate,
have a-
anything from,
I
okay,
don't have-
Dana, anything?
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for sticking with us in a weird year. Everybody's been super patient and really understanding, and it's been great being with everybody during the off season. But it's finally upon us. It's going to be a strange season, I'm sure, but we can get through strange. So thank you all for sticking with us. And Rusty, thanks for the presentation this evening and for everything you do. Assigners, I'll be in touch soon and look forward to working with everybody on the Zoom this year. So thank you.
And if anybody's curious what my office looks like right now, this is how we make magic happen around here.
Wow.
I sat back and I realized that this is a little excessive, but we're good.
I feel like an underachiever. I only have 2 monitors.
Oh man. But
I know,
no, I just want to
Nate,
thank all of you. I think this year is going to test every single one of us in different ways, from Dana and I here in the office to you all as officials. So stay patient, have some grace, as one of our soccer officials mentioned, with each other and with the student athletes and the coaches and the athletic directors, because everybody's kind of running around with their hair on fire. So, but I do appreciate all of you, and I know that you're going to make the sport great. Yes, a lot of us are losing our hair, so it is what it is. So thank you.
Nate, I wanted to thank you and Dana for taking some extra time to help put poll questions together and help clean up that video. I admire your tech savvy.
You know, I don't do it too often because it's you know, even with some of our basketball stuff, training videos, but it's just so much better. You all get to see a clear video, and it's easier to make rulings on clear video versus choppy video.
Thanks
So
again.
if any of the regions do want to do this for your presentations, just give me at least a week in advance to kind of prepare so that I don't miss it. I don't
Everybody
mind
else
doing
okay?
it. Just give me some time to prepare.
Hey, Nate, I got a question for you, Nate.
Sure.
What does that quote from Bobby Knight say?
Oh, this is actually one of our softball volleyball officials. Was it a softball clinic? Volleyball clinic? Softball clinic.
It was softball.
And she said, she was talking to younger officials. She said, understand, they're yelling at the problem. They aren't yelling at you.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And Dana and I just thought that was the most brilliant comment. That's actually, the quote is Cheryl Willis from Santa Fe. And Dana added it to that photo, so it was perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They are yelling at the problem. They aren't yelling at you.
In all my years, I had
That's
never
a good
heard
one.
somebody say it like that. And I was like, ooh, so of course, me being a nerd. Now, Nate's the tech guy. I'm the photo person. So I was like, oh, I need to make us a little photo and put it in our offices. So we have matching ones because we're nerds like that. So
And it was huge because a lot of the times I think we assume that our coaches are jerks, and that's actually probably not the case at all. They're probably amazing people off the mat and off the football field, to those football coaches down in Roswell, but we have to show a little grace because anybody that says that high school coach can't lose their job, and this is not life or death, they can lose their job, and we need to show a little grace for those individuals because they work super hard, as do we, but you know, they have a little more pressure. We need officials. They can be replaced. So that's kind of how I took that quote.
Right, anybody else for the good of the group? Love you guys. Thanks for your evening. I'll see you soon.
Yes, you will. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a good night, a great rest of your week, and a good weekend ahead.
Appreciate you.
Thanks again. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. I made it in finally.
I saw you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the connection here, but yeah.
You know, technology's great when it works, but not.
Well, I moved the computer to the bedroom from the living room, so maybe, you know, this is the first Zoom meeting I had since I done that. So maybe the connection's not reaching or something. So
On your head. Next time, stand on your head and I'll fix the whole problem.
yeah.
Good night.
All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here. Take care.
Dana, keep those emails coming. It's the only thing that keeps me anywhere in line with what we have going on. Oh my God.
You're the only person who says keep those emails coming. Everybody was like, would you freaking stop?
No, I appreciate them because it helps me keep my schedule and my calendar and everything. Like this thing gets full. It's full right now.
Good. Old school.
Yeah.
Like, and Outlook. So yeah.
Dating myself.
Me too.
But yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Of course. We'll talk soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.